Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the NECA Toys Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universal Monsters Michaelangello as the Mummy. Now before we get into it here, let's first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, Michaelangello comes with a pair of fisticuffs, so he can punch you right in the kisser. He also comes with a pair of Kung Fu grip hands, which can of course be used to wield his Ankh nunchucks. Check that out. Real metal chain. Pretty sweet. Got one Ankh on one end, one Ankh on the other, and of course, because this is Michaelangello we're talking about after all, he does come with a pair of these. It's pretty sweet. Already a little bit more of an impressive spread of accessories compared to the Frankenstein's Monster Raphael I took a look at yesterday. Because on top of all that, he also comes with not one, but two extra straps, or mummy wrappings, whichever you prefer, which can go on his ankles like so, to look like they are dragging on the ground behind him, which is pretty sweet. But for all intents and purposes of this review, we will be leaving those off, so get those out of the way here. And that's not all. He also comes with a really cool bendy cobra. Cobra! Not that cobra, but a cobra, which you can use with your G.I. Joe figures, I guess, if you really wanted to. Me, personally, I will have this guy wrapped around Mikey's neck and shoulders, kind of resting up on his back there, like a good little snake boy. A really good sculpt on that thing, too. Look at that. But really cool accessory. Can't say I have a ton of bendy snakes. I think the only other bendy snake I have came with an old Spawn figure. I want to say it was Medusa. And then, last but certainly not least, because he doesn't come with enough stuff already, he comes with this absolutely whack, arse, crazy, insane head sculpt that is supposed to be an homage to what happens to latex masks when they've been in storage for a while. You can see his lips are rotting away, his eyelids have rotted away. He's got this shiz-eaten grin on his face. It is freaking glorious, and this is probably the head I'm going to use, not only because it's freaking awesome, but it's a little bit tighter than the one he comes packaged with, which is also a winner as far as I'm concerned. But this right here, this is the head sculpt I will be using with this figure. That said, it should be worth noting that the bandages on the back can rotate, much like the Frankenstein's Monster Raphaels. But I will say, this one was stuck when I opened it, so be careful. If it doesn't move, make sure you heat it up and just kind of push in on it to get it to crack and start moving. I gotta give a little bit of a shout out to Kyle Peterson, because he is the only review I've seen that mentioned that this moves, other than my own. So shout out to him. Also a fellow Metalhead and Wasp fan and King Diamond fan, so can't go wrong there, right? Taking a closer look at good old Michaelangello here. He looks great. He looks just like the Boris Karloff mummy if he was a turtle. I mean, what more do you want, man? That said, the head sculpt he comes packaged with, this one right here, very reminiscent of the old Karloff mummy, with the wrinkled lips and everything. That looks really cool. The thing that's really cool about this figure is on the back he's got all these hieroglyphs etched into his shell there, most of which got hit with some paint. I think there are a couple that didn't, but that just seems to be how it is with these. They probably didn't want it to overspray on the bandages, which I kind of get, but he's a mummy, so a little bit of extra dirty paint would probably go a little bit a long ways, as they say. But that said, this guy is really cool. I don't know if I like him more than the Frankenstein Raph just because he's a little chunkier and I'm more into the chunkier side of things as far as action figures are concerned because of the whole bang for your buck value deal I got going for me. But this guy is really cool. And he is significantly smaller than the other two turtles in this line. You'll see that more or less tomorrow when we look at the Leonardo. But as far as articulation is concerned, his head is on a ball joint, as well as his neck. So you can look up and down. You can look up pretty good. You can look down pretty good. He can tilt. Get him in some good mummy poses. His bandages on the back of this head rotate just fine. This feels like a stiffer plastic too, so maybe that's why they were easier to move out the package. Shoulders go out to the side pretty well. They go back down. Forward and back. He's got a swivel at the top of the elbow. And he's got a double jointed elbow as well. I don't think he does not have rotation at the bottom. But you could probably, oh no, he does. He does have rotation at the bottom, never mind. But he does have another hinge down there. It's just really hard to use. Especially when you got the top joint already going. Can't really get more than 90 out of that, but that's fine. He is a mummy after all. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge. Kind of loose on this side, but maybe a little bit of heat pinching could tighten that up a bit. I can already tell by pinching down on it now. It kind of stiffens up a little bit. But it's nothing too bad. His hands don't flop around or anything. He kind of feels like he's got something in the waist there, but because of the way his shell is and the front of his torso is, it's very tight and enclosed. You're not going to get anything out of that. It pretty much hinders it indefinitely. His hips can kick out to the side, kick back down. They can kick forward, but I kind of like to shimmy them like this. You can hear that squeak to get them up, and then put them back down. You can hear that squeak as well. I'm not going to use any soap on this guy because I'm sure these will loosen up over time. I did heat them up, but you can hear them kind of squeaking away there. That said, this side was always a little bit tougher to move, but as you can tell, it's definitely loosened up a little bit as compared to when I opened him. But you wouldn't know unless you were here when I opened him, so not sure what I said that for, but it is what it is. You know what I mean. It's got a thigh cut up in there because of the ball hips. And then he also has a swivel at the top of the knee. Gives you a little bit better of a thigh swivel. Then he's got a double knee, which works okay. There you go. Gives you about 90. Not too bad. Just be careful with that. You don't want to tear it or anything. No swivel at the bottom of the knee, much like the Raphael. And as far as his feet are concerned, he does have hinge forward and back, as well as a rocker. And he's got peg holes at the bottom of the feet as well, I think. Does he? Does he not? I don't feel any. Okay, maybe he does not. But if he did, you know the drill. You could use a stand with him, which this guy you might want to, as long as he's got peg holes, because he can be a little bit cumbersome to stand, but not too bad. Stands better than some. The nice tight hips kind of help, along with the knees. So he's pretty easy to stand right out the gate. But really awesome figure. Not sure if he's my favorite. You know, Raphael's always been my favorite turtle. Leonardo's always been my second favorite turtle. Probably much to the dismay of most of the internet. Fight me in the comments if you will, but I like Leonardo. I don't think he's a dirtbag like everyone else does. But Michaelangello is always kind of my least favorite, but I will say this figure makes me like him a lot more, even though it's not a traditional Michaelangello figure. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is Michaelangello as the Mummy, alongside the only other figure I've already taken a look at from this Universal Monsters Ninja Turtles line from the fine folks over at NECA Toys, Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. Posted that yesterday. Please check it out if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it if you did. And as you can see, Raphael is quite a bit larger than Michaelangello here, which I actually don't mind considering the fact that he is Frankenstein's monster after all. I always pictured if the turtles were to be different sizes that Mikey would be the runt of the group, and Raphael would be one of the bigger ones, probably along with Donatello, but Donatello would be more of a height thing, Raphael would be more of a bulk thing, if I'm being quite honest with you. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, Livid Spawn, who as usual, towers over everyone. So with that being said, time to wrap things up, some final thoughts. Overall, and while I can't say that Michaelangello has ever been my favorite turtle by any means, in fact I don't know anyone personally that favors him over the other three brothers, much like the Frankenstein Raphael I took a look at yesterday, this is just a fun figure, man, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Having fun with your toys, and this guy is loads of fun. I love the extra head sculpt with that crazy expression on it. I love the Ankh nunchucks. I love the extra straps you could throw on his legs to give him a little bit more character. I love the bendy snake. It's just a lot of fun, and that's what it's all about. So, if you like fun figures, if you like Michaelangello, or if you're like me and want to complete this Universal Monsters Ninja Turtles mashup line, then this is a definite must-have for you. And even though he is not as large and in charge as his brothers, I mean, let's be honest, the Hunchback Leonardo and Frankenstein Raphael are way more chunky than this guy is. Though at the end of the day, I kinda like that. I still think you're getting what you're paying for here. I don't think you're getting shorted. This guy comes with several accessories, while the Frankenstein Raphael didn't come with much at all. So, with that being said, I would highly recommend this figure to the right person. I know this stuff probably ain't for everybody, but dang it all if it isn't cool, though. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you're so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when you've unleashed the curse of Cowabunga. I mean, what the heck is that? And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.